lot of what we've heard is the shot. I mean, that's one thing we hear pretty consistently from whoever you talk to. And I think in a perfect world, he's going to turn himself into a pretty good power forward. So we're excited to have him here. I think it's a great opportunity for him, and even better for us to really get a better idea of what he's going to be like for us moving forward.
How can that power forward quest start over the next couple of weeks?
Well, who knows how it shakes out here over the next little bit, whether he's going to find himself in a game or not, we'll see. But I do think sometimes you take a little bit of the pressure off of a young guy when they get a chance to be around it a little bit. So whether or not he gets into a game for us this year, we'll see how things go. But it's going to allow him to come back next year in a position where he feels way more comfortable and confident and in a position to really push to make a team.
I was talking to Craig Conroy yesterday, and he compared his shot to Matt Coronado's shot. I know you haven't seen him on the ice, but is that a comparison you've heard or believe?
Yeah, as I mentioned, everybody talks about the shot, and even in chatting with him this morning, you ask about some of his strengths, and that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. So that's a great thing for us, and he's a big boy too, which when he walks around the corner, you're like, well. Nice to meet you. So we'll look forward to getting him on the ice here sooner than later. Unfortunately, his gear got stuck in Minnesota or something, so his gear didn't show up with him.
Ryan, you've talked a lot this year about how well the team has been able to just flush whatever the last game was, good or bad. What's allowed them to be able to just keep the focus on what's next?
I think there's some of it has to do with experience of some of our players, like Blake and Naz, who have won it before. If you dwell or you hang on to things, it's kind of counterproductive. So I think with them being around the room and players watching them kind of move on quickly, good or bad, I think they kind of send the right message to the rest of the team.
Does that also go for calls that don't necessarily go your way, but also the one in Utah, and how quickly the team seems to move on from that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, some of them you have control over in those situations, but a lot of them you don't. So if you're going to lose your marbles over something like that, then you're wasting some other energy that you could be putting to good use in other areas. You can see frustration after the game from the players at certain times, but then they do shift and move on because there's nothing you can do about it. It's over. It's in the past. It is what it is. Those type of goals, it's more about them trying to understand why yes or why no. And that's sometimes where you see the frustration come in after games, but they move on pretty quickly.
Have you seen a change at all in Pospisil? He's got a little more playoff-y.
I think he's been his best that I've seen him in the 2 years since the Four Nations break. Every night I feel like he's had an impact. The game in Colorado, I think he had 9 hits. Impactful every time he's on the ice. I think he's back to pushing pace for his line. And when he's not on the ice, you notice the speed is missing. So I think he's done a really good job over the last little while. The next challenge for him is to, I would say, is to believe or demand, whatever word you want to use, that he can generate more offense than what he currently has. It's in him. And when he plays the way he's playing right now, I think that's going to come sooner than later for him. But part of that is recognizing that he's got the ability to do that too. So I think that's the next step for him. Continue what you've done over the last little while, but now it's about when you get your opportunities, you try to find a way to finish.
Do you see that, I don't know if it's fair to say lack of belief, but is it deferring a little bit, or how do you, what can change offensively?
I think what changes is if he has a couple games where either one goes in off him or he gets 2 in a row or 3 games in a row he's scoring, then he's a totally different player. I think it has a lot to do with that right now.
There's a Joel Hanley mentor group this year in getting that top 4 minutes, and also that great pairing with him and Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah, maybe our most pleasant surprise as the year has gone on, and I would say probably again since Four Nations break, he's probably been our most consistent defenseman. Night in, night out, zero flashiness about his game, but he will do whatever it takes to allow our team to have a chance to win, and that's why he's fit in so well. He's been a great partner for whoever he's been with. And he's been very consistent. And for me, consistency is the most important thing at this time of year. And he's been right up at the top of the charts for us in that category.
How has he been with the younger players as well too, and off the ice and away from the ring as well, as what you would know?
Awesome. I know he's got a young family in town. But I like, as coaches, you like to use people that are great examples for a younger player. So Joel, early on in this year, it felt like 2 months where he wasn't in the lineup. And every day he came to the rink the same way with a great attitude. His work ethic was the same. His energy was the same all the time. Made sure he was ready for when his chance came or has come, which he's now taken advantage of. So what you want to rub off on your other players is exactly what he's done for us this year. Now he's in a position where he's counted on and relied on every night. And he's deserving of the opportunity to play as much as he is right now.
There's some similarities between how Utah and Anaheim are built and how they play.
Yes and no. I think they both have a good skill set with a lot of their younger players. They can play the game with a lot of speed, but there are some differences in the game between the two teams.
You learned about the fortitude of Pospisil this year, because it's pretty obvious that he's banged up. That style of game takes a toll on the body.
Sure. And this time of year, when every game is the most important game, a lot of guys are feeling it. But Marty's, I think what he's done over the last number of years is recognized how to play that style the right way. Some nights it means we have to give him an extra day off in practice, but so be it. That's the style he's going to have to play, and that's where he's at his best. But the maturity part of him, Eric, I think is what's the most important thing for me, where we talked a lot about last year and earlier in the season about the penalties that he would take at inopportune times, trying to make an impression on the game. Now he's doing it without taking penalties, and I think his game's come a long way. I really do.
Is Rasmus Anderson available to you tonight?
Yep, everybody's available. Yep.
What has to happen tonight for you guys to pick up 2 important points?
I think we need to play our best game, and I think our speed or the pace that our team plays at has to be much different than what it was in Utah.
Did you get there in the third period 2 nights ago?
I thought we were better in the third period, when a little bit more urgency, a little bit more physicality in our game.
Is it speed simply like skating up and down the ice faster, or are there other elements to it, Ryan?
A lot of it for me would be like, if there is a battle in the corner, who's getting there next? Are we arriving as that second guy in there to win the puck? I felt in Utah we weren't anywhere close to that. So that to me is the speed of the game, where when there is a battle somewhere, we need to have support quicker than Anaheim does tonight. So that means you're skating all over the ice. And to Willsie's question, they're a team with good skill and speed, so we don't want to give them a lot of room. So we have to make sure our feet are moving tonight.